organization.
Welcome to my presentation. I am going to talk on time series analysis of coastal erosion in the Sundarbans mangrove forest. My presentation is going to be divided like as the usual: background, objective, materials, methodology, results and discussion, some outlook and conclusion. So, climate change and mangrove forests. As you know, that mangrove forest is characterized by regular inundation, tidal water, and it is usually located in the transition zone between land and sea. So, if we know from the IPCC report that sea level is rising over the last century about 2 millimeter per year, but it increased in the last decade. But unfortunately, we don't have any regional scenario for the Bay of Bengal. So how it can affect the mangrove ecosystem and mangrove forest formation? Because there are several influences from the fresh water flow from the inland and tidal waves from the sea. And mangrove often used as a sensitive biological indicator. If there are some small changes in sea level, it may add some mortalities, change in species composition, and change in species formation, something like that. So the objective is the time series analysis of coastal erosion, and also we are adding something with what will be the future Sundarbans after 1 decade. That is also part is ongoing. So the study area is located in the Sundarbans mangrove. It is the largest continuous mangrove forest in the world, and 2/3 lie in Bangladesh. The remaining 1/3 is in India. If we have a look on the map, that is the map of Bangladesh, and Sundarbans is located in this part. This is the Ganges Delta. This is the Ganges and Brahmaputra River, and here is the Bangladesh-India boundary. So normally, as it is mangrove forest, so ground is extremely flat and usually within very close to mean sea level. The predominant species here is Sundari and Gawa, and there are some other species also like Koshu, Kakra, Keura, Bayan, Golpata, etc. And it is also a habitat for Bengal tiger, crocodile, deer, and many other animals. So it's a time series study. So I used usually Lancet from the early 70s up to 2010. Starting from Lancet MSS, Lancet TM, ETM Plus, and then again Lancet TM. I could define many different land cover class on a Lancet image, but finally I marked them a few major categories like mangrove, other vegetation, bare land, and water. Mangrove usually I only took the natural mangrove, that mangrove in the Sundarban. Of course, we do have also planted mangrove close to the Sundarbans forest. Other vegetation usually have homestead forest vegetation. And bare land is contemporary class, sometimes it's bare land, sometimes it's agricultural crops or seasonal crops like rice. And water is all the permanent and seasonal water bodies that I consider here. It's a simple methodology like imagery downloaded, geometric correction whenever necessary, particularly in the early, for the MSS image sometimes it was necessary. And change analysis I done by 2 methods. One was by transit line, and another was image classification and overlay. And also I did some, we went to field for ground verification. So if we look to the erosion pattern there and forest loss, how it is changing. It is located in the eastern part of Bangladesh part of Sundarban. So it started from 1973 up to 2010. So every decade, how it is moving and the trend. We also wanted to have analyze the trend, whether it was lower rate in the earlier time and the faster in the recent time, or vice versa, or how it is happening, to get the future understanding, the future scenario. This was for the western part of Bangladesh Sundarbans. Sometimes we see very regular pattern, but sometimes also we see irregular pattern. The pattern is not very regular. And sometimes in some cases, we have seen that at the earlier time, the 73 to 80 image, the erosion was lower, and sometimes it is higher in the recent past. Let us see how it is happening. So, I just put the transect line and try to get a summary. But the trend was not very conclusive, whether it was lower or faster, and also the direction, whether we also wanted to check whether the erosion is going only one direction, south to north, or other direction. No, we did not find such any systematic trend. For different directions it was happening. Also, this is the case for the western parts of Sundarbans. Of course, for the lines, for the historical times here, we have found a little bit lower, particularly 70s, in the decade of 70s, and the other parts was higher, but also the trend is not very conclusive. But the accretion, how the forest formation and succession is going in Sundarbans, this part is ongoing, and we try to see how it is the regular pattern like erosion, or it is a different phenomenon. But we have seen from the first analysis, it is not like a very regular trend. It is rather than random. We did also some classification. It was a Landsat ETM class imagery early 2000, 2001. And of course, there was some problem with the here. Anyway, we classified all the classes we could identify on the Landsat image, and so mangrove, a number of mangrove classes and also other classes. But using the spectral characteristics, it was very difficult to separate mangrove with other vegetation. It comes like a mix together. But since we know this part belongs to natural mangrove, we used a mask to separate these two types of vegetation. And this was the last 4 decades change. This was the ash color was the unchanged Sundarbans mangrove forest. And the red color, forest lost by coastal erosion. Especially in some extreme zones, extreme points, we can see the red zone. But also formation of forest, that is from water to forest. The successional forest, it is located mostly in the sheltered part of Sundarbans. There I try to generate a change matrix and see in general what is the result. It slightly declined from the earlier time. It was more than 4,000 square kilometer, 4,178 square kilometer mangrove in the early 70s. It is now 4,034. If you look to the mangrove forest lost by coastal water, this 233, but in contrast, the mangrove forest formation from water, that is around 100, so it's also around 150, that is close to 130, something like the difference between the forest loss and forest gain. So we want to feel and see how it is changing. We have seen in several points that okay, the forest is changing like this way. We can see some motility in some parts. Sometimes then the trees have gone, only the roots have been found, and also some trees are noticed of dying in some regions. So this part I already told that mangrove forest classification. Mangrove using spectral characteristic we couldn't separate, but we use other knowledge-based information. So this belongs to mangrove, so we separated it. And sometimes knowledge on mangrove ecology is helpful for time series analysis, like this part, the 70s. Here it belongs to just water, this portion. But suddenly if we see there is some small formation of land in 89. In 2001 it comes almost, here is formation, here is sudden formation, is the very low level. Sometimes it goes to tidal, intertidal mud plain, something like that. But 2010 we can really see the mangroves, especially Keola plant. Keola is there, natural Keola. It is a species in the newly accreted land falls. Of course, the height is not too much, but it almost covered the ground. So we can see here. So in some cases, if we want to make classification, this type of part, this area, sometimes creates problem whether it belongs to forest, whether it belongs to non-forest. So we need to carefully look these things into time series studies. So this was the result from 1973 to 89, 89 to 2001, and 2001 to 2010. So of course we can see the forest lost by erosion using red color. It's very small in different locations you can see. And also the forest formation is also green color, with some sheltered part only. So now we try to get a conclusion how the forest loss and forest gain was going on. If we see in the 70s and 80s, the forest loss and forest gain was very close to each other. It's some 11,000 and 10,000 hectares. But if we go to the later stage, here it was very less. 1989 to 2001, the forest gain was much lower than forest loss. Even 2001 to 2010, the last decade, forest gain was also much lower than the forest we lost. If we make a graph per hectare loss, how is the loss is going and how is the gain? So we plotted it here. Here it comes from early 70s and 80s, the decade, and this the recent decade. The red color, the red line shows the forest loss, and green color shows the forest gain. So the rate of forest loss, the curve, it is really little bit effect for us. While forest loss is increasing with the time, the forest gain, in contrast, though it fluctuates, but if we look at, we draw a line, it is not that much change. But in case if the forest loss is continuing like this way, like CO2 emission trend in the right side, if we see the carbon emission trend from 70s to 2010, and if we see the loss of forest in the Sundarbans, particularly in the Bangladesh part of Sundarbans, what we can get. So my question is that why mangrove forest loss is in the coastal areas of Bangladesh is increasing in recent decades? It is because of climate change and sea level rise, or it is because of local land subsidence or other types of subsidence in that region. It is still unknown to us. Or this is a normal condition. So we are trying to explore these things now. And expansion of mangrove forest by natural succession remains unchanged over the study period. Why it is like that? Why accretion is not increasing? We don't know. But because of the human-induced factors like dam construction and reduction of upstream flow to the mangrove ecosystem have reduced tremendously because of the freshwater use of freshwater for agricultural purpose. This region is densely populated. All the Ganges Delta is densely populated. It started from India to Bangladesh, and there are many dams in the last few decades. So people are removing water, so there are less amount of water is coming from the upstreams, and consequently perhaps there are less sediment influx maybe also there, so it may also change our Sundarban ecology. So we are going to look, we must look also whether this type of erosion is common in other mangrove forests in the world, and also what is the linkage? What is because of mean sea level rise? Those mean sea level rise is very small. Whether it can change the dynamic energy system in mangrove ecosystem, because as we know, if there is a small change in the balance, it may unstable the ecosystem. Or sometimes, of course, the mangrove forest is located in the between land and water. So sometimes cyclones come, and cyclones also hit. That time also some loss of forest is also very common. So this is a part of our long-term ecological research on Sundarbans mangrove and how Earth observation data we can use to see the ecosystem and ecosystem changes. And also we are going to do some mangrove ecosystem change studies if we can find using the instance data. And I would like to conclude like that. Regular patterns of coastal erosion is noticed in several points in the Sundarbans. Rate of erosion is shown is in an increasing trend, and the rate of forest expansion by natural succession remains almost unchanged, though it fluctuates during our study period. I would like to acknowledge the USGS and also Forest Department and also some people in our organization. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Do we have any questions for Mahmood? We've got time for one quick question. Yes.
Did you eliminate false change due to tidal variation when you perform time series change analysis?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Because in coastal area it is also very difficult because some images we get high tide, some images we get low tide. But in terms of mangrove forest, whether the imagery is taken in high tide or low tide, we have checked. We did not find very much difference between the, because tide normally does not submerge the forest. It's only if there is some intertidal mud plains and some grasslands small there, sometimes it changes with the tide condition. But for the normal mangrove forest, it does not change that much.
One last question.
Dr. Rahman, during the last 3 months we were involved in a small project. I will discuss with you after the things. But what we did actually for both sides, for the Indian and for the Bangladeshi side. And we used spectral indexing actually to look at deforestation and forest degradation because the density is changing. We use exactly the same classes that you use. So we can see the fraction of soil in mangrove or water in mangrove and other vegetation. Did you take into account other type of changes? Like you talked about mostly the erosion. What about, for instance, degradation? What about changes like deforestation, for example? Shrimp ponds and example like this. Like we noticed in the buffer zone of the Bangladeshi site, there are crossing into the Sundarbans and clearing. Even in the image of 2010, we have used almost the same, but we use actually 70s, 90s, and 2010. We didn't use the 2000. Did you, first of all, did you consider other type of deforestation degradation, or you use only the like the erosion one?
Okay, thank you for your question. I think it's also interesting to share with you.
Yeah.
Actually, we have taken a long project to study Sundarbans using Earth observation data. We are going to incorporate different types of sensor and data to see the changes. At this moment, we have done only the erosion part. But of course, there are some other changes, minor changes maybe. There are some stream farming is extending in the northern part of Sundarbans. If you see 1 decade before image, maybe you will not see any shrimp farms. But if you see 2010 image, there are many shrimp farms are there. Of course, it will also affect the ecology in that region. But in later stage, we would like to also do, and we would like to share and keep in touch with you with your work.
Sure, we'll discuss after the.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, so our next speaker is...